All right, House of Payne fans, hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday night. Prepping for an alleged blizzard coming to my area of Virginia tomorrow, but based on the latest weather reports, I doubt it's going to be as extreme as people say. It looks like we're going to get snow for about 2 hours, and then after that, nonstop rain. But regardless of where you live, if you're on the East Coast specifically, not Pacifically, I hope that you stay safe, especially up north. Those in Pennsylvania and whatnot, apparently y'all supposed to be getting like 12 to 15 inches. So please be careful, be safe. So before moving forward in this particular video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon, and select all. That way you are notified whenever I post new content, and follow me on my various social media platforms. Links are in the description below. Make sure you do follow me, because I might be doing the DVD giveaway part 2 on Instagram or on Twitter. I know I'll be doing another YouTube live stream soon, so I know that a lot of people wanted to enter. I read the comments on the live stream, but notifications didn't go out. So like I said before, you might want to unsubscribe from the channel, but then subscribe right back, then hit the bell and select all. Basically like blowing into a game cartridge to get it working again, because when I do the next live stream, I want as many people to compete for a DVD as possible. So let's go ahead and move forward with this video. I hope this video does as well as the Why Does Malik Look Different video, because that video is about to hit 800,000 views, and I hope to God that one day it hits 1 million. So I really do hope this video does well too. And I talked about this in my video that I just recorded about Caleb, basically being written off the series. His final episode, based on the Instagram post of his actor last week, pretty much confirmed that Caleb will not be reappearing in season 9 of House of Payne. But just based on the story, they could potentially bring him back, but I honestly don't know if they will. I talked about how Jazmine, I think it's safe to say that she is the most popular character on House of Payne season 9, because of the fact that the ratings truly show that her character is what brings in people to watch. Because I'm looking at episode 20, If You Love Me, in regards to ratings. That was a 0.92. And yeah, I guess the package was a bit iffy, because, you would think that episode would have gotten a lot of ratings. It got a 0.87. But the thing is, that was the highest rated episode since episode 15, J Boogie, ironically enough, the same episode where Jazmine debuted her boyfriend Caleb. So I'm just like scrolling through the ratings on Wikipedia, and I'm just seeing that the Jazmine episodes are the highest rated episodes of season 1. If you don't count the premiere night where we got the first 2 episodes. Episode 1 got a 0.92, and episode 2 was the highest rated episode of season 9 thus far at a 1.09 million rating. But episode 3 got a 0.84. But when Jazmine makes her first appearance in the Old People game, got a 0.94. So if you look at that alone, the show did not get ratings like that again until like a 0.92 episode 10, Something's Rotten, and that has to do with Calvin and Miranda. Like, I feel like when the show first came back, it was a debate between, I feel like more people were talking about Calvin and Miranda. Well, technically, I feel like there are multiple things. The way Malik looked, when is Jazmine coming back, the twins, and of course Calvin and Miranda. I feel like those were like the top 4 subjects that people were wondering about. So whenever Jazmine came back, the ratings would spike up. Now, don't get me wrong, Miranda and Calvin were definitely a ratings gold mine. But at the same time, when the show was displaying that Miranda was just being reduced to this clingy, whiny, obsessive character, I feel like that really plummeted ratings whenever those episodes came out. That's what I think, because just looking at the ratings as I'm scrolling through, you know, yeah, the Miranda episodes got typically like a point 0.9 or close to it, but the Jazmine episodes are what really made the ratings go up, because remember, after J Boogie episode 15, which was a 0.89, the Dinosaur and the Rabbit, Dark 30, Out of basically the 3 episodes where, you know, Curtis and Ella were high, those ratings were so low, 0.77, 0.73, 0.80. That's when Assisted Living began to beat House of Payne in terms of ratings. But then when you get to the package, because Jazmine and Caleb were in the trailer, we got a 0.87, which was a huge leap from the previous 3 episodes. And then from there, we go to If You Love Me, which was last week's episode, which was a 0.92. So I honestly don't know if the rest of the season will have ratings like that, but I just feel like it's safe to assume that China Anne McClain is indeed the most popular character on the show right now. I think the second in terms of storyline would definitely be Calvin and Miranda, but just based on the fan reaction to Calvin and Miranda, I think Jazmine is indeed the #1 star. She's almost like the Candace Young or Veronica Harrington of House of Payne, because people tune in to see her. But given her latest video where she talked about how she's changing her, I guess you could say, position in the industry by focusing more on God's calling as opposed to the industry as a whole, I just am curious as to whether or not Jazmine will still be a part of the House of Payne series based on what she was saying, because she did say how even though Black Lightning is being not canceled but is ending with season 4 would have been her last season regardless, because she's not even in every episode of this particular season, which is a change of pace, because in seasons 1, 2, and 3, Jennifer, see, I almost got the name. I was about to say Jazmine. Jennifer was in every single episode. And I remember doing Black Lightning videos when it first came out, but the CW kept blocking my damn videos due to copyright claims, which makes 0 sense because I was just talking about the show. And yeah, for anybody asking, why don't you review those shows? I do watch them, but copyright. Maybe I'll try again this season. I don't know. All I got to say is Jennifer was definitely the catalyst for why that show began. I'm not saying like China Anne McClain makes the show. All I'm saying is the character of Jennifer is really the catalyst or the beginning for all the major events in Black Lightning. I do feel like when it comes down to it, I would assume, and I don't want to assume, but I would assume that even though she's going to change things up of how she interacts with the industry, because she's going to follow God's calling and start her own production company and whatnot, I would like to think that she would still continue to work with Tyler Perry just based on what we know of him. It seems like there's definitely that family and Christian element to his work, despite some of the material he produces. But given that China's been working with him since she was a child, I would not think that she would just stop, House of Payne or working on that as a whole, because in a way, I feel like what Jennifer on Black Lightning in season 4 is going to be, she's going to be like Jazmine from House of Payne, where she's not going to be appearing in every episode, but when she appears, people will tune in for it. So I definitely think that Jazmine Payne is the reason people watch House of Payne. I mean, like I said, I think Calvin and Miranda are a close second, but not a lot of people are rocking with the Curtis and Ella antics this season, especially with Curtis just being over the top. It's great to see CJ and Janine again, but they really don't do much. I think that the first couple episodes, I was actually impressed, because what I thought was going to happen was that CJ and Janine would take more of a Curtis and Ella role, where Malik, like Calvin, is still in college, but he moves back into his parents' house. But in this case, we got Malik with a pregnant girl. And basically you have CJ and Janine kind of, pulling that mentor, parental disciplinarian role to get their son on his feet in order to be a man. However, what we've been reduced to is just the overexposure of Curtis and Ella. And it's like, I don't hate the characters, but those two got their own spinoff and it bombed. So why in the world would you put Curtis and Ella in such a major role this season when we saw it fail before? And the characters who we want to see, we barely see him at all. Like, we only saw the twins twice in non-speaking roles. We saw Calvin Jr. all but 30 seconds. We got Miranda back, but I don't know who look, she fine as hell. I know I want her, but I don't want this version of the character. And I mean, Calvin's 38 somehow. But I just feel like when it comes down to it, I think that Jazmine is definitely the core reason for House of Payne fans interacting with the series, because the ratings don't lie. Even though the Calvin and Miranda story is a ratings goal as well, I don't think the story really matters at this point, because based on what we've seen so far of the Calvin and Miranda interactions, I would just hate for those two to end up together, because those two ending up together makes zero sense to me at all. Because what kind of message does that show? If nothing else, it's almost like a reverse role of the Steve Urkel and Laura Winslow dynamic. I mean, you got one pining for another person, even though it's almost like, you know, Miranda's Laura and Steve is Stefan. It's like, you know, Steve went after Laura. She kept saying no, but then when he basically changed for the better into Stefan, that's when Laura wanted him back. And in a way, I always remember watching Family Matters, looking back now, like, I think it would have been an interesting dynamic if after becoming Stefan Urkel, he had no interest in Laura, which would make her look like a very terrible person, in the fact that she only likes Steve when he's Stefan, but Stefan doesn't like her back. And that would have been an interesting twist. So in this case, you have Miranda, who pretty much is just selfish because of the fact that she wants Calvin now, because the Calvin in the present is the Calvin that she wanted while they were married. However, there were multiple times in their relationship where neither character was willing to give and take. I mean, or give and take, because one would want to be taking while taking advantage of the other, and one would want to be giving, but they never really had that balance. So when it comes to Jazmine, I mean, she's dealing with, you know, the angst of, you know, drugs, sex, and we know that she's a strong-willed character. And it's kind of weird when you think about it, how this alleged 17-year-old seems to be acting more mature than most of the grown-ups in this series. Think about it. Miranda, who I look, if Calvin's 38, I have no idea how old Miranda is. But you just look at her, the fact that her older brother just makes these life-shattering decisions all the time. I mean, Curtis is a man-child. Miranda's just whiny. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, CJ and Janine are just kind of there. Like, again, I like seeing them, but they're just kind of there. But it's just crazy to think that this 17-year-old girl is more mature than most of the older characters in the cast. But that's all I got to say. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I do indeed feel like Jazmine is the #1 character on the show. I mean, even though we got the whole cast back, I just feel like she's the main reason people tune in. And let me know your thoughts, because anytime Jazmine isn't there, people want to know, where's Jazmine at? Where's Jazmine? When Malik isn't there, oh, okay. When CJ isn't there, when Janine isn't there, well, I think it's a given. People knew that she wouldn't be in there, because in the opening credits, it's like guest starring, you know, Janine. So people knew that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, if China Anne McClain does decide to kind of step away from the industry altogether and not reprise her role as Jazmine, will you still watch House of Payne? Do you feel like she's indeed the stuff? I mean, if nothing else, she's kind of like the Michelle from Full House in a way, the young sassy girl who grew up and you know, is a star. So yeah. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Tune in for DVD giveaways the rest of the week of the 14th of December, and I will talk to you all soon. And please, let's try to make this video blow up.